Welcome to the Vow Excel. Thank you for joining me. Hope you all have had a wonderful week. Have a prosperous weekend. Be safe. Have a movie suggestion for the weekend because I didn't give you one for the week. I gave you basically a suggestion of a reality TV show that just aired on Hulu um, called The Mormon Wives. If you're interested, but the movie of the weekend is Here Before. It's now airing on Hulu. Please check my community board for the trailer if you are interested. Here Before. It's pertaining to a woman who had a girl child that went missing. It is a foreign film, so just letting you know. Give you a heads up. Information has been released pertaining to Angelica, a Hispanic female who roomed with Jennifer Soto. We're going to go over that said information. I will not be playing the audio. I had to take notes because I didn't want to play the audio because it's too much, a lot of confusion about copyrights and who own a damn audio and all of that. And I don't have time for all that nonsense. But anywho, it is what it is. Let's chop it up, everybody. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Big Angie, 129 Cash App. This will possibly be a winded live. There's a lot of information to chop up. The link is in the chat if you would like to come up here, give your public opinion pertaining to Jennifer Soto, Madeline Soto, Stephan Sterns. The information at hand. Feel free to do so. The link is in the chat. Let me go over my community page because I have a lot of questions that I have asked you all pertaining to this case, and I'd like to give you the feedback on your answers. Thank you for joining me. I also will be reading, posts that I also put up on the network. Hello, everybody. Hello, Miss Deb. How are you? What sane woman would ever tell her boyfriend that her biggest fear is that he pull a Woody Allen situation? What the F? Lee Michelle responded, "There's more to this in my opinion. Allegedly, she may have snapped as she told she wasn't right. Then she didn't have her meds." And then I replied, maybe so. So did Jennifer Soto harm her child, or was it Stephan Sterns? Madeline Soto case. Why is it when abuse is discovered pertaining to a child, I misspelled that, but anyway, the Mutt parents, caregivers always have animals. Now put that together. No more Madeline Soto cases. Call 911 ASAP. See something. Say something. Please talk to your children, all ages, about inappropriate touching. I can't look at girl children now for wondering if crying emojis. I can't. Every time I see a girl child, I'm wondering who she is, what her life is like, what her parents are like. Is somebody doing something to her inappropriate? It's just where my mind is right now, my headspace pertaining to children. And this case here about Madeline Soto. If the Soto condo was sold, who the F would buy or rent it knowing the child was SA and unalived inside? I wonder what Stephan Sterns' ex-girlfriend is thinking, knowing she dated a sadist killer. Not to be rude, but I bet she'll never lie face down during sex with another man. Would you continue living in Soto condo after learning Maddie was abused and unalive in the same apartment and found deceased? Hell no. I put hello no. Got a lot of typos. Sorry about that. 100% says hell no. 0, yes. 0, not sure. 31 votes. Do you think roommates still live in Soto condo? 37% yes. 37% no. 27% not sure. 30 votes. So it's a tie between yes and no. If you all believe they still live there. Very interesting. I'm curious to why police didn't tell Jen Soto the truth about Stephan filming Angelica under her bedroom door. It's pertinent info. His reason didn't jive well with me. It was not his place to tell someone's business. Huh? But it was okay to only share Maddie's abuse? Do you agree? He should have told Jen, 80%. Not told Jen, 5%. Not sure, 15%. 20 votes. Patricia Parker says maybe she did know. And I replied, maybe she did. And didn't give two F's about Angelica or Natalie. As a commenter said on another chat, if she didn't care about Maddie, why would she care about her roommate? Bingo card. Her animals got more attention than her own child. And that's the truth. I've got a lot of typos lately. I don't know what's going on. I believe that. That's why I made the post about the animals. Because you see a lot of cases of child abuse. When they go into homes of child abuse cases, raids on drug activity, there are always animals in the home for some reason. And that's something I've heard from law enforcement. That's something I made up. For those who want to question why I said that. Frankly, I can see Angelica and Natalie lying to police if they are not legal. I'm sure many migrants ignore crimes as not to be deported. Are the roommates legal citizens? Did they tell the truth pertaining to what happened in that house, what they've seen in the years that they rented rooms from Jennifer's father? Because that's very pertinent. If you are faced with eviction, deportation, you may not tell the truth because you want to keep your livelihood here in the United States. And that's something everyone needs to be focusing on as well. Are these women legal? And did they tell law enforcement the truth pertaining to Madeline? So I asked you a question on the poll. If roommate Angelica is not a U.S. citizen and fears deportation, would this be a reason to lie about what she knows in the Soto case? 64% yes, 36% no, 22 votes. Do you believe Jen Soto's roommate Angelica told the truth to police in her interviews? 19% yes, 62% no, partial 14%, not sure 5%, 21 votes. So 62% out of 20-something votes. That's deep. Some of you don't believe she told the truth. So what did she lie about in her interview, if you believe this? Does Jen Soto appear guilty because she hired a lawyer? 46% yes, 27% no, 8% not sure, 50-50, 19%, 26 votes. Why did Jen Soto really keep Stephan Sterns around? She was lonely, 23%. Help him out, 0%. Now that's the reason she gave it to the authorities. But 0% of you said you don't believe she kept him around and helped him out. Sick notion to give child to him, not to leave her, 59%. She really don't know herself, 5%. Not sure, 14%, 22 votes. Did Jen Soto willingly give her daughter Madeline to Stephan out of fear of him being attracted to child and leaving her? Two-part question. Yes, both, 77%. No to both, 0%. Attraction only, 5%. Leaving her only, 14%. Not sure, 5%. 22 votes. Does Jen Soto now regret allowing Stephan Sterns around her daughter Madeline? Yes, 14%. No, 64%. Not sure, 23%. 22 votes. With info being leaked out about the Soto case, do you now believe Jennifer knew Maddie was deceased before reporting her missing? Yes, 88%. No, 4%. Not sure, 8%. 26 votes. What was Stephan Sterns using tools for Sunday night into Monday morning? No replies. Is the Florida DA upset? Info is leaked out about the Soto case. 33% yes, 28% no, 39% not sure, 18 votes. With info being leaked out about the Soto case, will Stephan Sterns plead guilty and try to ask for a plea deal of life in prison? 72% yes, 22% no, 6% not sure, 18 votes. And with the latest developments of school threats in America since the shooting in Georgia, we have had some threats here in the Knoxville, Tennessee area, Roane County, Blount County. I believe there's another county I'm leaving out. There also have been arrests of children in this area since the shooting in Georgia. I asked you, should the law arrest kids for making threats toward a school? 100% of you said yes, out of 28 votes. Once again, weekend movie, Here Before, now playing on Hulu. Thank you for joining. Let's get down to business. I'm going to go over some things that have bothered me pertaining to this case in the interviews released by other creators. Were there hidden cameras in the house? Did Stephan Sterns put up any hidden cameras? Did Jennifer put up any hidden cameras in the house? The fact she didn't search for her daughter, she gave the excuse that she wanted to be home in case Madeline returned. The fact that she was more concerned about other people. She was worried about what the security guy had to say or looked at her when she returned home. She's worried about the New York Post putting out redacted information pertaining to her daughter and what was in the redacted, what was in the report, which would be the essay of her child. Why are you concerned about that? Why do you care about that? Because many people believe you gave your daughter to this man. You knew they were sleeping in the same room. Common sense would tell you anything could happen between the man and a child inside of a bedroom. There's no such thing as I trusted him. It's one thing just to have him around your kids, but you're talking about putting a child in a bed with a grown man. This is baffling to me. Her only concern was herself. In these interviews, and we heard it from the horse's mouth, not he said and she said, her own interrogation. Where are the roommates? Are the roommates still living in the condo? If so, why? Once again, as I said, are the roommates legal citizens? What has happened to the condo? Does the father still have the condo? Is he trying to sell the condo? Who the hell is going to want to move in the condo? Also, she talked about handling others' emotions when speaking about the guard at the gate, returning home, the way he looked at her. Why are you worried about handling somebody else's emotions and your child is missing? You should be worried about people handling you. You're the one with the missing child at that time. But you're too busy worried about your family, what they're going to think about the essay. Yeah, they're going to look at you crazy. Why would they not? Why wouldn't they? They're going to say, hey, you knew this guy. You let him around your kid and you didn't know he was messing with your kid. But that's all you were concerned with. You showed no emotion during your interviews, fake crying in one of the interviews. And that detective glazed right over that as if you weren't even crying because he knew better. As he told you before, we've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this a long time. He's letting you know. The shit that you were telling them didn't add up. And it doesn't come from a person who appeared to care for their child. So all this SHIT about breaking down, and you've had a breakdown before, and you don't want to fall apart, and you want to try to keep yourself together. Come again? That makes no sense. You felt shame. But yet you didn't have enough shame to stop your child from going in the room with a man. Help me understand. If indeed you felt shame and you were worried about your family, hearing the details of what this man had been doing to your child, and also taking pictures of your roommate. Did the lady ever confront Jen about the photos? Taking pictures? Because we learned, as I said, the cop didn't want to tell her because he felt like it wasn't his place to tell Jen. The girl was very concerned. You could hear in the interview, she sounded upset, starting to cry. She was upset, as she should be. What I was wondering if she was going to ask them, what are you going to do with the photos when you're done investigating? I want the photos. I want the blueprint. Because where do the photos go? Because we know that when it's a murder case, they keep evidence. So she even asked, who's going to see these pictures? Oh, only law enforcement. Well, how many people is that? Because you got to count how many people work in the case. You know, he let her know this is a, you know, touchy subject before he let her know what Stephan Sterns had done. So imagine being this lady sitting here having to divulge what you knew and didn't know pertaining to these people. And then they bring the bang to say, oh, yeah, by the way, sorry, touchy subject. Stephan Sterns had filmed you. We have the photos. Is this you? Sorry to show you this. Wow. That's a lot to digest. Hello, how are you? Oh, by the way, Stephan Sterns has been filming you naked in your bedroom. Is this you, ma'am, in the photos? And who could say what she was doing? Changing her clothes, could have been changing undergarments, doing personal things. Who wants a photo of that up? A recapture. What you're doing in your room, your personal business. I want you all to think about that. Because I think we take for granted doing things and not even thinking that somebody could put a small camera in your house. Anybody could come visit you right now and put a small camera somewhere and hear your every conversation, see you undressing, talking, God forbid you're doing something else, very personal. And now it's live like Memorex. I think I've thought about that once before. I remember I was having a conversation with, I don't know, it was a landlord, a maintenance man, something, and they said something that triggered me because it was something that they said that sounded like something that I said in my apartment. And the first thing I thought was, wait a minute. This conversation sounds like something I've said behind closed doors, if you get my drift. I'm paranoid like that. I don't trust anybody. Most of you know that they rock with the queen. You know I don't trust nobody. My shadow, she better watch her back. You hear what I'm saying? Amen. Trust no one. Can't trust people. We do, but you don't know people. Noise in the room. The night and morning, 25th to the 26th February. What was Stephan Sterns doing? Putting things on a table. Sounded like drilling noises. Some of you in other people's chat were saying he could have been using some sexual devices. Naturally, they make buzzing noises, vibrators, and different type of things. Who the hell knows this dusty MF? I'm also wondering where the child was unalive because we now got information that there are photos of her room, the makeshift room that she never stayed in. There are photos of him abusing her in that room. So this infamous room, besides room number 4, because that's more infamous, I guess, you don't know what to believe. That's why you're trying to tell people. Because people have a bad habit of this in talking about true crime. You love to keep repeating what the people in the story said. Well, she said and he said, I don't believe a damn thing none of them have said. It's just me. It's only a few things that seem to counteract that could be the truth that I've heard by Jen and by Angelica. She sleeps deeply. That's probably the only thing I've heard is possibly the truth. And Madeline Soto'S damn name, government name. But anything else, you got to have confirmation. So see, all this stuff about the girl having ADHD, not sleeping in that room. Well, we know now that's a lie. Ding, ding, ding. Come on with it, Queen. We now know that's a lie. Why do we know it's a lie? Because Stephan Sterns gave us the blueprint. He took pictures, videos. Thank you. Although it's nasty what he did, but amen. Because now it shows Jennifer Soto has lied. Oh, come on with it now. That's why the cops kept telling her in those last interviews, March 1st, so on and so forth, make sure you're saying everything you need to say. Make sure you're telling the truth. Anything we find out on our own, yeah, we can charge her. Please pay close attention. Why do you think they kept asking her the same questions over and over? Going back in another day to interview her, to ask her the same damn question. Same thing with Angelica. Separate interviews, same questions. That's to make sure they're repeating The same thing they told a week or two before. So Jennifer has been caught lying that the child never slept in her room. Rare. Well, then how does Stephan Sterns have videos and pictures of her in inappropriate situations with him if she didn't sleep in there? Also, I'd like to know when he assaulted the child, were there any times she was awake? So we now have left room number 4 to Maddie's room, the partition room. And now use deduction. That room doesn't have a door. Bingo card. Shut your mouth. So that means you were molesting a child in an open fucking room. Come on with it, Queen. You were molesting a child in an open room, a room that anybody could come in and out of to go to the kitchen to get a soda pop, a drink, cook them something to eat, come downstairs for a drink of water, a bowl of fruit, cereal. Anybody hearing what I'm saying? The mother's feet away in her bedroom with her door cracked. We learned she keeps the door cracked because of the cat. So the cat can naturally go to the litter box. There's a reason why they kept asking about games on the phone. Madeline's phone. Somebody downloading a game. The child was awake or she wasn't awake. She had access to the phone. She didn't have access. What time was her death? Murder. See, all that's relevant. So when they ask these questions, there's a reason they're asking, because they have a blueprint. They're not asking just random questions. Questions about her cycle. That's because possibly she was pregnant. You're not going to keep asking about a dead person being their cycle. For what? Were you tracking it? Sometimes it's late. Sometimes it's real late. So now people are going to ask that. Well, why was it sometimes real late? See, you don't know if that's true. Because the questions are about a dead person, and a dead person can't tell you anything. And the mother has appeared deceptive. So why am I going to believe anything she has to say? I'm not. We now learn that the roommate said that Jennifer came home at 11:30. But Jen, you said 10:30. Bingo card. Hello, dear. So that's an hour difference. And an hour is very important in the eyes of law enforcement, I'm sure. Because you seem to be exact on all the other little times of when you got up, when you left, when Stephan called, when you got back, when he got back. But yet your roommate now puts you at the apartment arriving at 11:30 instead of 10:30. So that goes to time of death. And we don't really know when the little girl was killed. So imagine she got home at 9:30, 8:30. She could have been dead when Jennifer Soto got to the house. Checkmate. And you don't know what time that was. Because once again, you're getting it from a lying donkey. I said that. You're getting it from a lying donkey. So you don't really know what time the child got home. And then there's a difference in who took her home. Jen says her sister took her home. Then they say she says that Stephan took her home. So who took her home? And then why would they not let Stephan take her home? They're going to the same damn address. Why should I drive my gas out, drop my niece off? If I know her, my sister's boyfriend is here, I say, well, honey, Stephan's here. You can go with him. Ain't nobody listening. I'm woke. I've been woke 53 years. Say it again, Queen. Why would the sister take her home when the boyfriend is standing right there at the damn birthday party? Ding, ding, ding. What happened in that house? Who was the orchestrator of the murder? Will Stephan give up Jennifer Soto to preserve his life, even if she didn't kill the child? Pay attention. Jen lived in this condo for 2 years. You heard in an interview, she came back. So what does come back mean? You lived there before or you lived in the town before? Curious. The roommate goes on to tell us she heard arguing in the beginning of their relationship, typical boyfriend-girlfriend type of relationship. Jennifer told her the last time they had sex was 6 months beforehand. Hadn't had sex. So why do you have them around? You're not having sex with them. Most women like sex. Some do, some don't. Why keep them around? She was asked about the relationship between the child and Stephan. Father-daughter type. Never saw anything inappropriate. The impression she got. The way he acted toward the child, flirting, no. Very minimum contact. So I'm trying to understand what she's saying, minimum contact she had with Stephan to know what his relationship was like with the child. Or she saw minimum contact with him and the child in the house. I didn't really quite understand that. No voices, noises going up and down stairs. So she noticed, like she said, she'd noticed that she was up, but naturally she couldn't tell you if she was asleep. She woke up around 9:30 that morning, Monday morning, went downstairs, got her something to eat, came back up, came back down lunchtime, and Stephan was still there at the apartment. They asked her how certain she was. But as someone had said in someone else's chat, she may not tell the truth because he heard her speaking Spanish, and it seemed like she also was interchanging English as well. She's not going to want to jeopardize her livelihood. Okay? And once again, why did Jennifer Soto hire a lawyer? What made her get a lawyer? Jennifer talks about, once again, how overwhelming the situation is. News people calling her, bombarding her at the house. So now you got to ask, how did they get her telephone number? But she seems so concerned about everyone else's opinion of her, but no concern for her child. And that's evident from her own mouth because she sent her child in the bedroom with a grown man. That morning, Stephan was acting weird, says the roommate. Tools out. She noticed one tool in particular was a hammer on a table. They were small tools. What were the other tools and what was he doing with them? What had he been doing with those tools in that room number 4? She woke up hearing a tool. She never saw it. She was asked if the tool was clean or dirty. She said it was clean. She also found it strange he was washing clothes. He never washed clothes before. Asked her something about what color something was. She said she didn't know. I can't remember what that was. I got so many notes. She said she left around 3:40 that next day, that Monday. She said goodbye to him. That was that. They always made small talk. She was also asked about, did Stephan leave before that time, I guess before she left. She couldn't give an answer of if he was in and out of the apartment, I guess because she was upstairs. He also asked, what did Jennifer tell her about Madeline? She said basically she was crying and appeared desperate because her child was lost. That's what she told her. Maddie's lost. So she did confront Angelica to tell her the child was lost. She said she was somewhat crying but calm. He asked her if it was fate. Okay? Her demeanor. Also about the tools. Small tools, but they were not electrical tools. Very interesting. So what was he doing in that room with the tools? Jennifer allegedly asked him about the tools, and he said he was working on some projects. What were they exactly? Also asked had she seen those tools before. Jennifer, I believe, said no, she had never seen them before. Roommate asked about Stephan Sterns' emotions. Asked about her emotions pertaining to this child missing. And she said it looked like the next day, that would be Tuesday, the child looked like, Jennifer looked like she had been crying all night. Asked about the child interaction on her cell phone. She said it was normal for her to, yes, use her phone to talk to her friends. She also said the child was more on the computer than using her phone. She also was asked about hearing noises, of course, people leaving at night, coming in and out, going up and down stairs, opening and closing doors. She said, naturally you could hear anything inside of the apartment if she was awake. She did not tell anything mischievous about the child missing to Angelica. What about the other roommates? Are they going to buy information pertaining to what Natalie had to say? We'll be waiting on that. What did Natalie tell law enforcement? They also asked her, did Natalie come home that night? She said she thinks so. Does she have a boyfriend? She said she don't think so. She said she has a child, 7 or 8 years old, who's autistic. She was asked, did she have a boyfriend? She said yes. Then they go on to talk to her about the video that he made of her, pictures or whatever. Asked her, is this you? She confirmed it was. They also told her that he would be arrested for the crimes. And that naturally he got arrested for those sex acts against Madeline. She said she didn't want to ask Jennifer anything about Stephan Sterns and the crime because she didn't feel like it was her place. She just wanted to console her as a friend. Interesting. Should she have asked her about the crime? Should she have asked Jennifer? Well, what did he get arrested for? What happened? My thing is, I live there in the house too. I pay rent there. So I have every right to ask why this person is arrested. And I don't think hearing it on the news and hearing it from Pookie and Ray Ray is the appropriate way to get business. So let's chop that up. Jen, were you ever going to tell the roommates why Stephan Sterns was arrested? Because you seem so concerned about what people are thinking and what the New York Post and the news have to say about the redacted information. What do you give a fuck about what the news and the news people have to say? Your boyfriend did this alongside you. So why are you worrying about what someone has to say in a redacted report? This is so ignorant. But this is what happens when people do wrong. Naturally, they don't want people to find their sins out. That's why she was so worried about what the security guy, how he was looking at her when she returned home. After all this wrangling with the police. Oh, he looked at me. Strange. He looked at me. Oh, that's why you're hiding, right? That's why you ain't got a lawyer, right? Some experts say, yeah, you should get a lawyer when you're dealing with this type of situation. And then some people might say, well, why do I need to get a lawyer? I ain't done anything. Hell, my boyfriend did it. I didn't do it. Weigh in. Should she have gotten a lawyer? But she's only seemed concerned about herself. That's my take on it. The woman tells the detective she wants to press charges. She also asks, are there more pictures? And they said no. It's all the same time, between 3 and 4 minutes, the photographs or filming. Very interesting. She asked how he took the pictures. Did he have cameras in her room? They said no, he filmed you under the door. He's going to spend a lot of time in jail. Don't worry. But of course she's worried. So did she confront Jennifer about the information of the essay and also him filming her? Did she say something to the father? Because that's who she's paying her rent to. Bingo card. Come on with it. See, these are the things you're not hearing. What did the girl go say to the father? Hey, this is fucked up. I want my money back. I want out of here. So are these ladies still living in this townhouse? Dear God, I hope not. Because I wouldn't want to be there, quite frankly. And something else I find interesting, that Jennifer and Stephan stayed in a hotel with his father, separate rooms, of course. Why she couldn't go stay at her sister's house? We also learned Stephan hadn't reached out to her after getting arrested. And she realized, oh, well, he's guilty. So she wouldn't have answered the phone either, because he also asked her that. Would you have answered the phone if he called you? She said, no. Not when I realized he was guilty. So what are you saying? You only realized he was guilty when they told you they had videos and pictures of him with your child, but yet you're the same one that sent your child to the room with a grown man. Help me understand. Okay. She's just a dizzy bat. Once again, nobody's going to see the photos but law enforcement, what was told to Angelica during this interview. Does Jen know? She asked the detective. He told her, no, I'm not going to tell her. What you do is your business. As I said before, this is strange conversation. Why would you not want to tell Jennifer Soto that her man filmed her roommate? Don't you think she should know? So you're just going to let her find out about the essay and the pictures and all of that, but you ain't going to tell her, oh, yeah, by the way, your boyfriend was also filming your roommates. This is bullshit. Never heard of such. You should have told her. The more the merrier. Tell her all of it so she can realize what she had let into her life and her child's life. Because most of us have an idea she already knew what she let into her home. But sometimes what they say, repeating it back, it registers. The detective asked Angelica asked her she thought Stephan is capable of harming Madeline. She basically said, prior to this, no. But after getting this information of the essay and naturally her being filmed, she believes he's capable of anything. Wow, wow, wow. The detective told her not to discuss the investigation with anybody. Don't discuss what was said in interrogation, asked to preserve the investigation, and not to have outside people having information of what she told them and vice versa. Something I wanted to talk about as well during this live stream, somebody mentioned during a chat on another network about the circles under the child's eyes. Why did the child have dark circles under her eyes? So the queen went and did a little research pertaining to dark circles under children's eyes, and this is what I found. Having asthma. There's something about the lungs, not getting enough air in the lungs, can cause the dark circles under a child's eyes, not getting enough sleep. Also having a deficiency in vitamin E, D, K, A, and B12. Iron deficiency, nasal congestion, genetics, anemia. We also heard a lot of talk about bipolar 1 and 2. Bipolar 1 is more severe than bipolar 2. Didn't know that. Didn't even know there was a bipolar 2. And bipolar 1 is more prevalent for a person to have manic episodes. Once again, more severe than bipolar 2. We learned that Jennifer allegedly has bipolar 2, which means the person is more depressed. Okay? They stay more depressed and down. Possibly would sleep a lot. not in tune to the world. We also learned she took a lot of psychiatric medicine. March 7th, Angelica. This is part 2 of the audio. Who was there that night? She says it was she, Jennifer, Madeline, Natalie, Stephan Sterns. What did you do when you got home? Changed, clothes, went to bed. She went to bed about 2:30 a.m. The noises you heard from Stephan's room, she heard them from the time she was up until the time she went to sleep. So what was he doing exactly? We also learned that her room was across the hall, not next door. Best explain what you were hearing in that room. Sounded like he was putting something on the table, sitting something down. Did you hear people talking? No. Did you hear people going up the stairs? No. Once again, she repeated going downstairs to make breakfast. She saw him wash the clothes. She thought that was strange. She came back up the stairs, went back downstairs, left about 2:30. She did not see Jennifer Soto in her going up and down the stairs for breakfast and for lunch, and then departing for the day to go to work. I think that's all I have. I think. Well, no, I got some more. I think she was asked about surprised not seeing her. She never completely closes her door. Naturally, that would be to let the cat in and out. Lived there 2 years. What was the sleeping arrangements of Madeline, Stephan, Jennifer? They all slept together. Did you ever see the girl child go in Stephan Sterns' room? Number 4. She said yes. Did you ever say something to Jennifer about it? Jennifer replied it was normal. She trusted him, that he would not hurt her daughter. They had a conversation about it. Why would you do that? She said it was normal because, once again, he wouldn't harm her. She was asked, did the woman take meds? Angelica says yes. There were times she would doze off in mid-conversation while she would sit and talk to her. She also was asked about where was Madeline and Stephan that night in the house. She said she couldn't tell the detective where exactly they were in the house, but she believed that they were there that night. I think they also asked about her talking to Jennifer that night. She said no. I think it's also asked her about sex. I can't even read my own handwriting. Then they went on to talk about the breakup of the two, Jennifer and Stephan. When there were issues between Stephan and the child, Madeline would go call Stephan. What did she say to him? Mom is being mean. I don't want to listen to what she has to say. What were the conversations like? What's weird about that is that we hear that a counselor says she told her he acted strange. We also learned her grades picked up after he left the house, November 2023, somewhere in there. So one's going to say, if he's molesting her while she's woke and she knows this, why is she still talking to him and calling him when things aren't right between she and her mother? It's very interesting. So that is one of the main questions of the storyline. Was the child ever awake while being assaulted? because now you've got to weigh it out. Why she's telling a counselor she's uncomfortable around him, but then in the same breath, she's calling this man when she and her mother are falling out and arguing. We go on to hear about the bath situation. She didn't have any privacy with him up there. So was there more to the story than what she told detectives pertaining to Stephan Sterns and him being up there on the top floor? I'm curious. Did she notice him doing anything? Queen has ears like a dog. Let me say that again. So I would know that you were outside my door. Because I have ears like a dog. Hound dog. I know if you're standing at the door. I know if you're rattling something at the door. Because I do. So it wouldn't matter if it was a bedroom door, it was the front door. I'm going to know because I have keen ears. Ears better than sight. Because I've heard people say that, damn, how did you hear that? I didn't hear that. I know you didn't, because I did. So I would know if Stephan Sterns was outside my door. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the door. And naturally, my eyes are going to go to the floor. And that's where I'm going to see your little camera and you stuck under the door. And my black ass going to swing that door open and try to whoop the hell out of you. Checkmate. Say, well, 3 to 4 minutes of filming somebody? Come on now. So that was a nice size crack to stick what? A long pin-like camera under the door? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Didn't want him using their bathroom. So it was agreed that he would not use the bathroom upstairs. He would go downstairs to use the bathroom. You hear Jennifer telling this in the interview that at some point he came downstairs to use the restroom. What time was that when he came downstairs to use the restroom? Because I was questioning that myself. Why is he going downstairs to use the bathroom? There's a bathroom upstairs. Well, she didn't want him up there. So also, did she say something to the landlord, which is Jennifer's father? Hey, I don't want him using the bathroom. It seems like to me that all the orchestrating was going on between Jennifer and the roommates and not the father. But yet the father owned the condo. So please pay attention to what I'm saying. She's the one putting the numbers on the doors. She's the one interacting with the women there. She's the one listening to the complaints about Stephan using the bathroom. They decide Stephan don't go up there. I think he was upset about that as well, not being able to use the bathroom. Why? Because you can't, what? Because you want to film them in the bathroom. Ding, ding, ding. Hell yeah, he feeling some type of way probably. I think also he was upset about having to leave. I think that's the main point I'm trying to make. He was upset about having to go when she was asking him to go, to leave. What was the real reason she wanted him to leave? You got all these different versions. He's a slob. He's this. He won't say no sex. We ain't getting along. Blah, 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 blah. But yet your daughter was good enough to sleep in the bed with him. Checkmate. Help me understand. All these complaints about Stephan Sterns. He's this, he's that. But your daughter, you basically saying your daughter was trash. Boy, would I like to get a hold of you. I would love to get a hold of you, honey. And I'd like to wring your hair around your damn throat. I'd have no mercy on you. And I think that's your fear, is that somebody is going to get a hold of you. That's why you're hiding out. But let me tell you something. You can't hide. You can dye your hair, cut your hair off, get contact lenses. You are still Jennifer Soto. Is this woman telling the truth about everything she saw and heard in that condo? She also tells the detective he moved out around November. He had to go. And once again, says he was not happy to move. She did not notice anything unusual between he and Madeline. She also noticed they would talk to each other on the phone. The girl child and Stephan Sterns. Stephan would talk to her about doing chores and things she needed to do around the house. But as someone said on her channel yesterday, why are you feeling the need to scold Madeline about things when you couldn't help Jennifer out? Because we learned that also in the interview, that he got very irritable. He wasn't violent or lashed out. She believed he did that with his parents, but he never lashed out violently towards her and Madeline. But he got irritable driving cars. He didn't like the way people drove. If she asked him to do something, help her, he would get irritated because he was a man-child, as people love to call him. He's a man-child. He's a bum. So, no, he don't want to help you do anything. All he wants to do is vape and run around in stores buying trinkets, children toys, and little figurines because he was in an imaginary world. As the scriptures say, there comes a time when you must put away childish things. Exactly. Now, we have grown people who have hobbies. A lot of men like to collect certain things that will be considered childlike, such as trains. Nothing wrong with a train set. My grandpa had a train set, but he wasn't tinkering with it every day. It sat in a box, put up in a closet. We weren't stepping over an imaginary world to go through the living room to the dead. You put away childish things, but he did not. And that's Strategic said in his commentary, Strategic Eyes, and I agree with him because I've said it before on this network pertaining to Jen. Your room was a hot butter mess. Storage rack piled up full of junk, stuffed animals, clothes, knickknacks, paddywhacks. You're talking about Stephan Sterns being a slob. Well, your room looked like a room that belonged to a kid in a dorm. There's nothing personal in your room. There's nothing personal in the house. In that small living quarters of a living room, makeshift bedroom, kitchen, it was sterile. Bathroom, as I said, white shower curtain. Curtains in the room, white. Floor, white. Walls, white. Microwave, white. Everything's sterile. There's no life. There was no life in the apartment. That's the first thing I noticed when she pushed the door open. And the dog pushed the door open by mistake when they had the canines out that night. There was no life in that apartment. Now, I'm all for light color aesthetics. That's not where I'm going with this. I'm saying that most women like some form of color. Color curtains, pattern curtains, pattern linen. You rarely go into a woman's house and see a white shower curtain for the obvious reasons. It shows dirt. It's going to show makeup, hair color. So you're not going to use a white shower curtain. That's why I said this place was a business. You take it how you want. Because we don't really know what was going on in that condo. And now that we know that the child was hurt, all bets are off. I don't trust nobody. You can think what you want about the roommates. I don't know them. I don't trust them. And if I can't trust the mother, I can't trust Stephan Sterns. What makes you think I'm going to trust the roommates? Because I know people will lie. And people will lie for other people. And we're seeing this in the case with a woman and a social worker being murdered out west. If 5, 6, 8 people can be in that murder, you can best believe 5, 6 people can lie for Jen Soto, Stephan Sterns. Why not? Because if these people aren't legal citizens, they have a lot to lose. Because I won't doubt a person would say, well, is this going to hurt me getting deported? Anything I say? You better pay attention. You think your ass is going to be deported? Hell yeah, you're a lie. Hell yeah, you're a lie. Once again, she never saw Jennifer Soto that morning. Stephan Sterns was acting strange, acting very nervous. Never seen him act like that. She said something about him receiving a package, opening and closing doors back and forth. Obviously, he was looking out for a package. Once again, I've mentioned that. Why is he receiving packages at this address when he doesn't stay there? He has moved back with his parents. So why are you receiving packages at Jennifer Soto's apartment? Make it make sense. So he can still have a connection to Madeline Soto. She was asked about meds, drugs. She said he would start smoking drugs. Smoking what? Marijuana, crack, meth, heroin, or vapes? What do you consider drugs, Angelica? 11:30, she went back up to her room. Basically talking about that night. Items being placed down on a table. Stephan Sterns' room. She was hearing noises sometimes through the night, but then she fell asleep eventually. I think she was asked, did she ever see the child get ready for school? She see her get her clothes. The little girl will get breakfast made by her mom. So that's one thing that's possibly the truth, because that's something that was said by Jennifer Soto. When she would make the child breakfast, the girl would go lie down for a couple more minutes. After she get her breakfast, she'd go lie down for a while and then go to school. That's the same thing that the roommate said also in her interview. So that's two things that are the truth. Jennifer sleeps deep, and she did cook for the child. And then the child would eat her breakfast and go lie back down before getting ready for school. She took a break. She was also asked, did Stephan Sterns ever take the child to school? She said never, only Jen. So naturally on this day that the child will go missing, we get the version that Stephan took her to school. We also hear Jen going in between I, we, and he. And she did it at different interviews. I, we, and he. And then the detective had to clarify, well, who took her to school? Because you keep giving different versions. Oh, I meant him. He told me he took her. Why would he have to tell you if you told him to take her? Makes no sense. Why did the man come up there in the first place? Because we learned that he got there on a Saturday before. So, acting erratic, strange at his father's house. Then we also get information from one of Madeline's friends. She was acting peculiar days before. Everybody's acting peculiar. What the hell was going on? It's like it's a jump off. There's a lead off jump off. It's like a if you ever watched this movie called Slow Burn with Ray Liotta, woo, please check it out. It was a slow burn. It was a slow burn, a slow push to the edge of a cliff. And you always hear this in true crime. Everybody saw, heard something peculiar right before murder, right before somebody went missing. So we got this slow burn of a little girl upset, agitated, days before death. Early in the week was her actual birthday. So what was going on with her mentally, physically? Then we got a goofy-ass, grown-ass pedophile acting crazy at his parents' house, nervous acting. The hell was wrong with him? Did he get some news he didn't like? Did that little girl call him and tell him she missed her period? Bingo card. Shut your mouth. Because I found it weird. Everybody's acting nervous. About what? He's staying with his family. She's up here with her stupid mother. What is everybody nervous about? Because we already know Jennifer, she ain't nervous about a damn thing. She's a dope head. Fucking dope fiend. It's a wonder she wasn't smoking meth. Because she was on her way, if not already. Her and him both. They're perfect candidates for being dope addicts. Because they like being sedated. And like they always say, when you run out of one thing, you need something else. All right, where was I? Stephan Sterns never took the child to school. That last week, the grandmother took her to school. So we also hear Jennifer saying that her mother and her sister would take turns taking the child to school and picking her up and different things. So that's one thing that's now been corroborated as the truth. Do you believe Jennifer hurt Madeline? Not in the least bit. Don't think so. Stephan Sterns? Yes. Only because of what I heard on the news and what he had done to the said child. Going back, Monday night, power tools were out. Everyone's sitting around. She didn't know what the other two tools were. So what were they? Sunday through Monday, didn't see anybody. Didn't see Jennifer Sunday night. Don't know if she was up or not. They talk about lights on, lights off. She's known to leave her lights off. If she sleep. Keeps her door ajar, which we heard that from Jennifer's mouth as well. But the roommate also said if she was up, her TV would be on if she was up. He asked, did she snore? He said no, she never snored. Very interesting. She stayed in a deep sleep. She really can't tell what Jennifer was doing and not doing that night. She left home about 3:40 p.m. And once again, Stephan Sterns was there. She told him goodbye. Jennifer's car was gone. She didn't see her. He asked where she kept her car keys. Angelica said in her room. Natalie left early that morning, Monday morning. So what time did Natalie get out of there? What does she have to say? Are we going to get bought information about her? Since everybody's buying shit from Florida. Don't take it personal. Just find it real creepy. Asked about Jennifer's demeanor. She couldn't believe what happened watching the news. She seemed normal, talking, but far gone distant in her interview. He asked her about her. What did she think of Jennifer in that interview, first interview? She said she seemed normal, but far gone, distant. She also talked about her being scared to go out sometimes in public. She seemed anxious. She did also seem upset the night the child went missing. She also said the child was lost. Didn't hear anybody going up and down stairs. She also was asked, did she go to the bathroom that night, Angelica? She said no. She stayed in her room. Jennifer stayed in her room. Didn't hear a TV playing in Jennifer's room that night. Just the noises coming from Stephan's room. Nobody going up and down the stairs. Lights were off in Jennifer's room, to her recollection. March 1st interview. She didn't have any contact with Stephan Sterns, Jennifer Soto. She wouldn't have answered if he did call because of what she learned in the photos and videos pertaining to him and her child, the essay. Wanted to get him a lawyer. That was asked. Why'd you want to get him a lawyer? Well, I did that because I thought he was innocent. And I said, when was that? When did you think he was innocent? How could you have thought he was innocent when you were the one putting your child in the room with him? As somebody on their channel saying, Mr. Dockett, I'm a grown man. Nobody tells me when to go to bed. Exactly. So why is a grown man being instructed to go to bed and also being instructed to go to bed with a child? Help me understand. Help this 53-year-old black woman understand. A itty bitty spider telling me when to go to bed and to go to bed with her child. Sounds like it was an arrangement. That's what it sounds like to me. That they had a conversation, and that leads to what the detective said to her, and being very careful what she says in the interview. Because he said, now know that we got your text messages. So in one of those text messages, she tells him, she can't sleep with me, I can't risk it. That was June 2023. Jennifer, what the hell were you talking about? Were you meaning to say you, but you had to say I? Because you knew that something could happen to where your phone would get seized. It was really a premonition, was it not? Because your phone did get seized. Your phone, Madeline's, and Stephan Sterns. And the truth came out, did it not? Yes, it did. Your words have come back to haunt you. Checkmate. That's why they tell you be careful what you text to people, because a lot of people keep them damn text messages. And now we learned it don't even matter if you erase them. They can be found by careful inspection. Thank the FBI for that. Once again, triggers, gets upset easily, driving, nagging him, blah, blah, blah. Ask him to help out. But he never went off on Maddie. He'd only scold her about her not doing what she's supposed to do around the house. They yelled at Maddie, but never put their hands on her physically. Is that true? She asked about a black laptop. He asked her, why do you need it back? Because she's asking about getting her devices back. And she says, oh, those are the pictures. Maddie's pictures are on that black laptop you all took out my closet. What do you care about some pictures? Help me understand. You didn't care about your kid. You didn't look for her. You didn't search for her. You got to answer for everything. Even the detective said that. You got to answer for everything. Answers that don't make no sense. You seem like you're covering for this man. And what did she say? No. I'm just trying to make you understand who he is as a person. What triggers him, blah, blah, blah. Who gives a fuck? Because you already appeared deceptive. So really everything you're saying is going in one ear and out the other. You knew what this man was doing because you gave your child to him, you dodo bird. When you told the detectives you sent them to the bedroom, they slept there occasionally, rarely. You kept changing that up. You told on yourself. And no logical human is going to just assume that a grown man is sleeping in a bed with a girl and he ain't going to have them type of feelings, thoughts. Even if he didn't think he was that type of human. He's still a man. Men get erections. They don't have to be thinking about sex. They don't have to be craving sex. They don't have to be desiring sex. They don't have to be horny. It's a natural element. It's natural. But to show that both of you are evenly yoked in the sickness, you don't think what he did was evil, but the murder is. He's telling some girlfriend he's getting an erection from a kid in the bed, and then he has to go over to the house and cuddle with her to put her to sleep. Who the fuck talks like this? Only sick people. And we're not even going to go on and on about that Woody Allen. We'll touch on that here in a minute too. Jesus Christ, help me. Like I said, why do you want the laptop? Because you didn't protect your child. He goes on to tell her, we're searching for your daughter everywhere. They're searching for her everywhere, non-stop. When you listen to the detective, when he says this, if you go back and listen to the audio, You could tell he is done with Jennifer Soto. Queen is good in hearing people and reading people. He was done with her at this point because he was talking over her. It was as if he was a child putting his hand over his ears. I don't hear you. I don't hear you. Something I used to do when I was a kid and my mother used to be nagging and I was an itty bitty spider. I remember walking to school one day with my hand over my ears trying to block her out. Trying to block her out. That's what the detective was doing imaginary. I don't hear you, Jennifer, because you're lying. Ears covered. You could tell his tone deflating with her because he would talk right over her. She's going on whimpering about, oh, my baby, oh, I'm worried, oh. And he says, they're searching everywhere. They're searching nonstop. Because she was asking, where are they searching? And some people might find that suspicious. Well, I just want to try to help you. Maybe if you tell me exactly where you're searching, I can help you out. And he's like, well, you gave us a few places. Well, I know, but I'm just curious, because I don't really know where she could be, of course. I figured she might be near the school. That's what I'm assuming. You assuming a dead kid will be near the school? You mean discarded near the school, not actually walking around, because your child was never alive. You described what she had on, but I believe you all put clothes on a dead person. Checkmate. And he asked you about that too. What'd you say? Yeah. I didn't see her that morning, but what I mean is, she laid out that green jacket and black pants, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, buddy. Clean it up. Jennifer Soto's the cleanup lady. Biggest fear, Woody Allen. Who thinks like this? Why have him around if you think he would pull a Woody Allen? Did she say this to try to help cover up what she knew was going to be found out anyway? Let me throw this Woody Allen in there because they're going to find out this man's been messing with my child. I have foolishly put my child in harm's way. I've given them the key to the city by saying I sent my child in a room with Stephan Sterns. Did she help aid the investigation and the narrative? I know they're going to find out about all of this, so I'm going to throw in Woody Allen so it can coincide with the information that they discovered on the devices. Was this a ruse by Jennifer Soto? The Woody Allen comment. Thank you for joining me. You've now been listening to the Vault XL. That's my commentary. I will now drop the link. Woo! 1 hour. Get all that out. Jesus. Well, it's a lot of information. And when you believe Queen took all that by hand, it's a lot to do. To sit and write down every damn response from an interview, because I didn't want to play the audio. I don't do editing. I don't know anything about all that type of stuff. Hold on a second. Queen don't know about all that. I've never done all that editing and all that kind of stuff. It's such a controversy with playing stuff and who owns it and who released it. I don't have time for all that bickering and arguing. My time is valuable to me. The link is in the chat. If you have something you'd like to say pertaining to the information of the interview with Angelica, Jennifer Soto's commentary, reaction, responses, the detective's demeanor, Stephan Sterns, Madeline Soto, hit the link. Make this content go viral. Make use of the StreamYard. Hey, Peter. Flora, Jess, Akira. Hello, everybody in the chat. 71 viewing. Thank you for your time. Please check the polls on my community page. Make your voice count. Leave a comment in the comment box. And feel free to leave a comment once this video is done streaming. The panel is open. If you have a comment pertaining to this information of this interview with Angelica, where is she? Where is Natalie? Are they still living in the condo? Does the father still own the condo? Is he going to sell the condo? What are the neighbors saying? What is everybody saying down there in Florida? What are the neighbors saying with one another? Who else has a story to tell? Because I believe the story is not over. Of course not. Because you need to backtrack the life of Jennifer Soto with Madeline 7 years back to birth. We also learn about stepsister. She was married briefly. Child has a stepsister. So that means another man was in the house with a child. Pay attention. Different people running in and out of a damn apartment you don't know anything about. How did they come to find these people? These roommates. And as I said before, she's known to be a bisexual woman. So if she can date Stephan and then he becomes a roommate, who's to say these roommates weren't people she dated? We also learned that she dated people while Stephan Sterns was still coming in and out, and they were on and off. This is a recipe for disaster. Everybody knows this. This is how children get abused sexually, physically. You got all these people running in and out of your fucking house. You're not there. They're keeping them. They're running in rooms. They're putting their hands under covers and touching kids. This is how children get molested. This is how children get beat up. You don't know the people keeping your kid. You don't know the people in the house running in and out of your house. This was a recipe for disaster. I don't believe in all that piling up in a house, living with a bunch of people. I wasn't raised that way. I don't know that type of life. Some of you do. That's your business. I don't. And anything I speak on is I speak from experience. I don't know anything about a bunch of people living in a fucking house, piled up, 10, 12 fucking people living in a house. I ain't never going to live like that. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Some of you can live like that. Everybody taking turns to use the bathroom, all that type of nonsense. I ain't with it. Because I know people. And I know people will pop off at a moment's notice. This is why you have all these domesticated situations, because too many people are living in a house with each other. You always hear the same story with a bunch of people living in a house. Somebody stole something. Somebody's friend, family stole something. Somebody was molested. Somebody was physically abused. It's always the same story. You're always hearing something about drug usage. It's the same MO every damn time. Now, does this happen in every household with a bunch of people living in it? No. But it's a recipe for disaster. You cannot have different people running in and out of a house with children. Different attitudes, different dispositions, different religions, different politics, different ways of thinking. Children can hear. They pick up from grown people. That's why children start cursing, acting out. They're picking it up because they're mimicking what they hear, what they see. Jennifer didn't care. She's just a bobblehead. That little bobblehead thing you stick on your dash and the head bounces around. Her and Stephan were two bobbleheads. Blind leading the blind. That's why she couldn't wait to tell it. Oh, we're all the same. Me, her, me, Maddie, and Stephan. We're all ADHD and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but one of you ain't here. How about that? Everybody's the same, but we got one missing. Ding, ding, ding. Jennifer, you got any ideas? Why we got one missing? Oh, let me clarify. One dead. Everybody's the same, but one's dead. Oh, no. Everybody ain't the same. How dare you group that little girl like you and Stephan Sterns? She was not. She was a child of God, highly favored. God took her out. Got to get my baby out of here. Someone will say, well, was it God's doing or was it the devil? Take your pick. Depends on your perception. But God needed her more. You can't have her anymore. She don't know what to do with her. You're not doing right by her. Take her out of here. They knew something was nefarious going on. That's why they said something. One of them said something. But you can't tell somebody what to do with their child. That's the point. They are roommates. They had no jurisdiction over that apartment. Obviously, they needed a place to stay. And this is what happens with a lot of people. This happens every day with people. People put up with a lot of bullshit just to have somewhere to sleep. That goes back to what I just said about people running in and out of a house. People living on top of each other because they didn't got nowhere to go. For whatever reason. Their own doing. Don't got enough money for an apartment. Florida's expensive. You know, you're not living in Florida on chump change. And although we have poor people in Florida, just like we have poor people here in Tennessee, but the aesthetic is that it's an expensive place to live. It's a paradise for people with money. I meet people all the time that move from Florida to Tennessee. They didn't move from Florida because they want to come to Tennessee to live. They moved because they can't afford to stay there. They can't afford to stay there. Florida, New York, LA, they're all the same. They are places for people with money. You don't got no damn money, it ain't a place for you. Because you're going to be struggling. And I won't doubt one or two of them girls, they are not legal. Because ask yourself, how are you 30-something years old and don't speak no damn English? If you knew English, why not speak it during the interview? That interview had me pissed off last night, trying to take notes. I was getting very irritated. And then that guy, he's talking over him, the interpreter trying to get the information. I was pissed off. I was like, man, I ain't got time for this nonsense. But you use deduction. You're 37 years old, you don't got your own place, you got a kid, why you don't got your kid? See, I asked all those questions. And you all should be asking those questions. Why is this woman living in a house with them and she ain't got her kid? Checkmate. Say it again, Quinn. You want me to believe there's no HUD offices down there in Florida? You know there are. Why is this woman raising her child in a makeshift room? She couldn't go to a HUD office and apply for help. She can get help because she's got a double sword. She's disabled and she has a child. So Miss Soto would have had the world in her hands as far as getting help from the state of Florida. Pay attention. She's got a kid and she's disabled. So her name will go on the top of a list to get an apartment that goes by your income, to get a voucher, whatever. Could have got some type of habitat house. But no, we're going to live in my daddy's condo. I get the big girl's room. And I'm going to put my daughter in a living room with partition screens. That's what I think of my kid. And I'm only giving my daddy $400 a month. And everybody in the house is paying a different amount. Are you hearing this? $400, $600, $650, $850. You put that on paper. Ask yourself why. Everybody should have been paying the same amount of rent. But see, Jennifer didn't have the money to pay for that extra room. That's why the child didn't have a damn room. But that's her problem. Because her father's trying to make money. What I just said about living in Florida. Florida is expensive. So her daddy was on the hustle. But it was a recipe for disaster. As you see, look what happened with this boarding house. A child is being molested under the noses of adults. And now everybody's got to give their damn rendition to detectives about what they saw and what they heard. Child crying to people, crying to friends, telling one neighbor she wants to run into the woods. Everybody's got a version. That's why I keep trying to tell people. The flags are always there. It's a matter of, do you listen? Do you care? You don't listen if you don't care. You don't listen if you don't care. You don't call the police, DHS. You don't care. See, all somebody had to do was call 911. Hey, there's a grown man sleeping in a room with a little girl. Could you hurry, please? I think something's going on. The mother doesn't seem to care. Make up something. Say you heard the kid screaming, hollering. Hell, lie. The little girl could have been saved. That's the bottom line. She could have been saved. And all the mothers weren't about my family and what they're going to say, and I don't want them to, and they heard this and the redacted information and I don't care about you, girl. I don't care about your family. I don't care what your family thinks about the redacted information. What do you give a fuck, Jennifer Soto? You did this to your kid, and you're worried about what the fuck the New York Post was saying in a report. You crying now, wait till trial. You better hope your little friend says, that's okay, I don't want to go to trial. Because what's you hearing now is nothing compared to the language that's going to be used in the courtroom. So you better saddle up, honey. And how long are people going to take care of your disabled tail? I didn't want to break down. I got to keep myself calm. I've broken down before. You're already a fish turned over in the water. Checkmate. Just a babbling idiot. The Stephan Sterns want to talk to Jennifer Soto. Does she want to talk to Stephan Sterns? Old habits die hard. Remember that. Of course they do. Because they are codependent, both of them. She needed him. He needed her. They are evenly yoked. And what happened to Malin Soto? In no way I believe she had no idea what was going on with her boyfriend and her child, because it appears she gave her child to him. That's how it appears. That's how it appears. I can't look at it any other way but that. She gave her child to a grown-ass man. And I think she saw that he favored her daughter. And she just went along for the ride and said, well, the hell with it. Keep him around. I'll just go ahead and let him assault my child. Keep him as a gopher. But in the end, he really was nothing to her because they didn't have any sex. He wanted sex a certain way. She's calling him a slob, this and that. He wouldn't work. He wouldn't hold his own. He couldn't help her. She also didn't spend any money. She didn't take her child anywhere. They didn't go on dates because he didn't have any money. This was a recipe for disaster, because that's the whole point about life. There's got to be an end game when you're dealing with people. Where can it go? Where can it go? He sees a place to slough off, try to get free sex, sexually assault a kid. She ain't getting what she want, but he's just a warm body there, somebody to talk to like a fucking mannequin. They're both damn mannequins. Two dusty blow-up dolls together. Yeah, I said that. They both were blow-up dolls. And the little girl's paying the price of these two heathens. She's paying the price, the ultimate price. Sacrificial lamb. As Hannibal Lecter would say to Clarice, have the lambs stopped crying yet, Clarice? Yes, they have. She was a sacrifice. She was a sacrifice for a very lonely and disturbed, codependent female. And he was the same. A very lonely, bitter, codependent male. As she said, he would get angry, easily upset, or irritable because he was bitter and mad at the world. Those are her own words about Stephan Sterns. So Stephan Sterns, what were you mad at? Are you mad because you still have little boy tendencies? You still like playing with kids? You like to play childish games? Well, you have won now a foolish prize. And the worst prize would be death. But you would deserve it, rightfully so. Because you're facing death either way. 60 so counts of child abuse, filming an adult without her knowledge. And then there's the murder charge. Those are two separate cases. And you will face death in each case. You are a loser either way. So the only thing you can do is give up Jennifer Soto, which I'm sure that's what he's going to do. It won't matter if people believe him or not. It won't matter the role that Jennifer Soto played. But that's what he has to do to try to preserve his life, is to give up Jennifer Soto by all means necessary. Take the polls on my community page. Thank you. Poor child. And know that there is another child out here suffering the same fate as Madeline Soto. You know that. There's a child somewhere being assaulted as we speak. And there's no Calvary for him or her. There is another Jennifer Soto lying in the cut, watching it unfold and doing nothing. And then there is another Stephan Sterns, or Stephanie Sterns, assaulting the child and enjoying every minute of it, thinking they will never get caught. What you have to ask yourself is, how do you walk around abusing the child, however, and thinking you're never going to get caught and pay the piper? Because you're seeing more and more cases of sexual abuse with adults and children, and you're now seeing more women sexually assaulting boy children, which is baffling. To see a woman being attracted to a boy child. What do you see in a boy? Help me understand. What do you see in a boy child as a woman? What would you see in a girl child as a woman? What do you see as a man looking at a boy or a girl in that way? I don't get it. They're kids. How can you be attracted to a child? Please explain to the queen. Make it make sense. You also got to ask yourself, are there other victims? Because you don't wake up at 37 with child pornography and videos and pictures of you penetrating a child by accident. So has Stephan Sterns abused other children? What other children have been in his peripheral and care? And will we find out there are more victims of Stephan Sterns? Will we also find out that Madeline was also abused by some other people? Because I got a feeling she probably was. Because her mother does not have common sense. And she's gullible as fuck. And she allowed anybody to be in her peripheral with her child. So if you got different roommates running in and out of your house, you're sleeping with different people while you were messing with Stephan Sterns, you got to go back in time. Who was around the little girl before Stephan Sterns? People are showing pictures of the little girl when she was an itty bitty spider. It's very scary looking at those photographs because you have to also deduct she might have been abused even then by somebody else. Somebody else. And as I said, I don't put anything past the mother. Because a lot of you will say, well, I don't think the mother killed the kid, or I don't think Jennifer molested the child. Why would you think that? Why would you think that? She's telling on herself. I can't imagine somebody doing this to me. Woody Allen. I always have this fear of my man running off with my daughter. Who the fuck is thinking like that with a kid? So now you got to ask yourself, what age did you think your child would run off with a grown-ass man? You thought of this when she was 7, 4, 3, what? Oh, when she started blossoming, puberty. Woo, she's getting boobs on her. Woo, she's starting to look a little older because she did look older in her pictures. Just a headshot. You may not assume Madeline was 13. Stay woke. So if I'm an outsider looking at the photo saying, I don't know how old she is. Imagine a man is looking at her and what he's thinking. Checkmate. Because it happens all the time. Men look at little girls as women, not children. They look at them as objects, not children. So if you look at a photo of a child and you can't tell how old the child is, now imagine a sadist looking at them and what he or she is thinking. They're viewing them as an object, viewing them as something to play with, to do funny games with. And that's a dangerous thing. I used to hear stories years ago of young men riding up and down Martin Luther King Drive here in Knoxville, scouring the street, looking at the young girls walking down the street from school, from Austin East High School. What do you think they were doing? They were just bored? Day driving? Nah, of course not. Looking for a victim. Attracted to children. And some people will, egg them on. Well, these girls, they fast. Now they grown. Who cares? Who cares if young girls are more grown, more sexual? It's not the point. You should know better as an adult not to say anything to a child, period. I don't care how she looks. I don't care what she's wearing. I don't care what the boy looks like. It doesn't matter. You should know that's a child. You can look at a child and tell it's a child. You can't differentiate 12 to 16. Well, she don't look 12. Oh, but she don't look 25 either. Make it make sense. Just admit you're a sicko. You're attracted to children. Don't sugarcoat it. Because a lot of men like to sugarcoat searching out young girls. You riding by a school, looking at the girls, whistling at them, making comments. Hey, cutie, you want to ride? Hey, cutie. You don't have no business saying shit to a child walking from school. You know they're a school. They're school-age children because they're walking with book bags. So it don't matter how she looks, how she's developed. She's a child. It's not your business to care she got boom booms and a butt on her. So what? How's that your concern? It's not. This is what people need to understand. There are people out here who make excuses for this behavior. I've seen it. I've had conversations with a person recently, months ago. You know better. What the fuck would you want with a 15-year-old and you're 19? Why? Oh, everybody else is doing it. Oh, so when catch a charge, go to jail. Because people are giving men, the gumption. It's okay. She want it. She like it. That's what pedophiles think of their victims. Even when they're babies, children, they wanted it. The fact that there were drawings on algebra equations, that fucks me up. A woman giving a man oral sex on the same sheet of paper with an algebra equation? What the hell? So now I got to ask myself, who did that? Who wrote that? Who drew that picture? Stephan drew it? The little girl drew it? What? This is bad. This is bad in the worst way. That's why I said this seems open. This relationship abuse, excuse me, because people get upset if you say a relationship. This abuse of this man and this child, it seemed open to me. Wide open. Because there are pictures to verify he was in that makeshift room abusing her. So that means he did not care about assaulting her in a room that didn't have no damn doors. So where was Jennifer Soto while he is filming and taking pictures of a little girl in her bed? Because they said the hamper is in the picture. That's why they have the picture of the drawers thrown on the hamper. Everything in this case is meticulous. Every question is meticulous. There's a reason for the questions because they have proof of sexual assault against this child. Asking about her period, you do the math. Why would a cop be asking about a mother tracking a child's period? Stay woke. Because they have information about a conversation. You probably was talking about it with Stephan Sterns in your text messages, Jennifer. Duh. Or the child was pregnant. Duh. Or all of the above. That's why he told you to be careful what you say. And you know now they got your ass. You know they got you. You know they got your text messages. They got everything you have said to Stephan Sterns and what he has said to you. They also got the conversations between Stephan Sterns and your child. And I got a feeling it ain't good. It ain't good at all. You gave your child to him. And you may not have said to him verbatim, you can take my child and have sex with her, but you gave your child to Stephan Sterns, either by mouth or by turning a blind eye willingly. But either way, you are guilty and you are complicit to the abuse of your daughter and also the death of your daughter. And you should be brought up on charges of gross negligence, child endangerment. And I also believe you should go down for murder as well, because you're the catalyst to the demise of Madeline Soto. And the fact that in all of your interviews with the news and detectives, the only person that you were concerned with was Stephan Sterns and yourself. You are only concerned about your image. You are concerned what people think of you. You are concerned about what people are going to hear in the redacted information. You are concerned about them learning about the essay because you know they're going to judge you that you knew and were complicit to the abuse. And you don't want people knowing that you aided a man to abuse your child. Checkmate. But that's on you, honey. You did that. And now you got to pay the piper. So if you never do one day in jail, you've got to walk around as the bad mother who allowed a man to molest her child and kill her child. And I don't know the role that you played in the murder of your daughter, but I do believe you had knowledge that she was dead the morning of February 26th. That's my commentary. Thank you for joining me. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below this video. Take the post. Be heard. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie, 129 Cash App. That's all I got, everybody. Prayers for justice. Madeline Soto. If you see something, say something. Be a part of the solution and not the problem. You've been listening to the Vault XL.